Hi everyone. Good morning. Bon dia. It's a nice windy day. It's sunny outside, but it's windy and it's cold, so I'm trying to stay warm and cozy here. Today's video is going to be what steps we took, how far out in advance we took them in order to move here from the United States to the Azores. So if you are new to the channel, my name's Anita. My husband's name's Sean. We moved from the United States to the Azores with our 2 teenage kids and our 2 chihuahuas. We moved, we knew we were going to move about 3 years in advance. And today's video is going to be going over the steps that we took in order to actually move out here. We hope this video might be helpful if you're moving from anywhere really, but the United States to the Azores, especially if you have a family. And I know a few of my followers do plan on moving here within the next few years. So if this video is helpful for you, then I hope that you're able to, use it and relieve some of the stress that is involved with moving to do. So 6 months prior to your move, you want to start getting your passport set up. That was really hard for us because of COVID. Things were requiring appointments at that time. And we were having a really hard time finding a place that was going to be able to do it, book an appointment in a timely manner, because when you do your passports, not only do you have to wait for your passport to come in the mail, but you also have to wait for, I think they keep your birth certificate, and I think they also kept my marriage certificate as well too. So you need time for those items to come back to you. Give yourself plenty of time. If you don't already have passports, give yourself plenty of time to get your passports dialed in. Another thing is to start booking appointments for like medical appointments. There was a few things I needed to get out of the way. There was a few things my husband needed to get out of the way. And we started booking appointments, well visits, and some of our other appointments as well too, about 6 months in advance. Because if there's follow-up appointments that you need to go to, then you're going to want to make sure to give yourself plenty of time before you head over here to Portugal, or to the, there goes the dogs. Again, purge. I think every day I was doing a little bit, honestly, going through the closets, going through the kids' closets, going through storage, things like that. And then also you want to start thinking about, when you're purging, what you're keeping and what you're not going to be taking with you. My rule for my family was any clothes that don't fit you at that moment, you need to get rid of. Anything that you haven't worn in the last year, I felt that we should probably get rid of as well too. We had kind of already started purging a little bit in advance, so that was pretty easy for us to continue to purge and get rid of items in the household, as well as anything that may have been in storage as well too. You also want to start thinking about and ordering, if you don't have your originals on your birth certificates. You want to make sure that you're bringing originals on your birth certificates, any marriage certificates, and any death certificates. I'm saying death certificates because in my particular case, this is kind of personal, but it happens, so we had a daughter that passed away, and we have her urn with us, and we have her ashes with us. And in order to travel on the airlines with that container, you need to have the death certificate with you. And so I made sure that I had all of that documentation already in advance with me prior to traveling. It's really, really important. So 5 months in advance, I would say that's when you want to start booking your flight, as well too. Pick a day, stick to it. We knew we were going to move 3 years before we moved, but it was like, okay, well, when are we going to actually go over there? We didn't have to necessarily have like a set time period, but we felt that it was important to move during the summertime so that the kids had plenty of time to finish their school year, so they could move during summer, say goodbye to their friends out here, have some summer weeks to hang out with their friends and things like that prior to the move. So we decided that we were going to move August 10th. It was the date of our flight. You also want to start booking your pet appointments at this time, about 5 months in advance as well too. You want to make sure that you're booking appointments for their shots, wellness appointment. You want to make sure that you're booking an appointment if they are not spayed or neutered, because that is going to be a requirement of the pet passport. And then you're also going to want to make sure that you are scheduling appointments if your dog is not already microchipped as well too. That is also one of the requirements for the pet passports. I will be doing a pet passport video on a pet passport information on a completely separate video, because that does take time, and I want to help relieve any stress if you are traveling with your pets. So again, note, keep purging, keep getting rid of all that stuff that you know for sure you're not going to be taking with you. And then moving on to 4 months in advance. So 4 months in advance, you want to make sure that you have your children's shots and wellness appointments out of the way. And that gives you, if the doctor does want to see them one more time or 2 more times before the move at that 4-month mark, that really gives you a good amount of time to schedule those other appointments in advance, just in case there's something else that you need. Eyeglass appointments, dentist appointments, things like that. Get all of that out of the way. Okay, so right around this time, the 4-month mark, is when I went and purchased more of the plastic containers, like the tubs that have the lids that pop onto them. I did that honestly around Christmas time. We bought a whole bunch of them because they're on sale, because people are, storing their Christmas bows, and they're, storing things to make room for their new items and things like that. So around Christmas time, those containers go on sale. And I think I purchased like 15 of them or so for $5 each. So that way I can start labeling them, start packing anything in advance, and have that prepared and out of the way. And we can also start counting our containers as far as what we were going to put in the big shipping container. Okay, so 4 months in advance, around that mark, is also the time that I would recommend starting to make lists. List galore. Like, that saved my life. I started printing out lists online of what I'm going to be carrying in my luggage, in my carry-on bag, in my purse, my kids' bag. So around this time, purchasing our luggage as well too, so that I could start to get a mental note of how much space we had to carry with us on the airplane, or how much space we had for the items that we were going to be carrying on the airplane. This is also a time that it's a good time, if you are taking pets, to order your kennels and have your kennels prepared. We traveled with SATA Airlines, SATA Airlines, and they have some pretty strict requirements as far as the sizing goes. So they have a way that you measure your pet, and I will try to squeeze in an image of it right here. But they have a way to measure your pet and measure it for the kennel. Now, there's the domestic size and there's the international size. Also, back to the booking of the ticket, just real quick. I would recommend saving yourself some stress, especially if you're traveling with your pets. I learned this the hard way, that sometimes the ticket agent forgets to book the tickets with your pets included. You have to get, at least with SATA Airlines, approval for your pets to travel, and you should do that before you actually book the ticket. Do not book your tickets. I repeat, do not book your tickets until you have confirmation from the airlines that the pets are approved for travel. This will save you a huge headache in the future if you book the tickets, pay for them, and then they did not include your pets. So make sure that the day that you book your tickets, that you're speaking directly to the airlines, letting them know the size of the pets that you're taking. They will send you an email confirmation saying that your pets were approved for that, and then pay for your tickets. I promise you, this will save you some stress right there. And then at that 4-month mark, you want to verify your booking as well too. I would say I was so stressed out. I probably verified my booking once every month after I had actually dialed in the booking. There again, I had a few bumps in the road as far as booking it, but booking it with the pets, we made the mistake of going through a travel agent. One, they were trying to charge an extra $1,000, and two, they didn't do the job that was requested, and that was include our pets with the booking. And you don't want to have that fear of getting to the airport, finding out that your pets weren't approved, and you've already booked, spent thousands of dollars on tickets and luggage costs as well too. Okay, so 3 months in advance, it was a coincidence that my husband and I both needed to renew our driver's. So it was kind of just a coincidence that my husband and I needed to renew our driver's license at the same time. But we did go into the DMV, renew our driver's license, and we also asked for a printout of our driving record. Because once we were out here in the Azores, we're able to switch over our driver's license without having to take any sort of test. But you want to, you don't necessarily want to, but I felt that it was important to be like, okay, this is finalized. My tickets are booked. I'm already starting to pack about 3 months in advance. With my employer. So that's when I really told them, like, this is the date of the booking. And I put my notice in at that point in time. You also want to start selling anything that you can at that point in time. If you can live 2 to 3 months without some of the larger items in your home, I would recommend starting to get rid of that. You can definitely get it down to just having one sofa, down to just having only, the mattresses. We waited a little bit longer for that, but if you can put your TV on the floor for a little while and sell your entertainment center, all of that kind of stuff is going to be helpful so that it's not all crammed in at the end towards the actual move. You want to start packing anything in those containers, those plastic containers. If you are putting your stuff in a shipping container and having it shipped over here, to start packing some of the items that are important to keep, but that you're not going to touch. For example, I had like a lot of my kids' old toys, their artwork as well too, pictures, things like that. Around that 3 month mark is really if you guys are going to be renting or getting a shipping container. Think about the size, think about the things that you're going to be taking with you before you do that purchase. It takes 3 months for your stuff to get over here on that container, and when we got our stuff, we were actually really happy. It was nice to have a little bit of home and a lot of those memories come with us as well too. And again, keep purging at that 3 month mark. Okay, so 2 months in advance, you want to continue to check things off those lists, to continue to print out those lists, for carry-on, your luggage, your dog items as well too. We had a separate bag that we were able to pack with us for dog toys, your leashes, things like that. I will get in again to that on a separate video as far as the pets are concerned. You also want to try to create like a folder or like a file. I had this really nice like leather folder that zipped up all the way around so that papers wouldn't fall out of it as I'm thumbing through the papers to pull out as needed. But create a flight folder, and in that flight folder, I made a list of things that you should probably have with you. Okay. In that flight folder, you want, of course, most important, your passports. Keep your passports like one of the top things, or even in a separate bag on you, or a separate pocket or something like that, or maybe on the outside pocket of the folder, because you will access those passports and you will be asked multiple times to have your passports checked during flight and during the travel. You want to have those birth certificates. You want to have your marriage certificates. You want to have your death certificate. You want to have all of your shot records, your kids' shot records, and your pets' shot records as well too. You also want to try to have, if not in this folder, maybe a separate folder, your medical records as well too. I would say that's probably one thing that I neglected to do, was have my medical records printed out. And that's going to be nice when you do start going to see a new doctor out here. Prescriptions, get the printout, get or make a copy of that prescription. Keep the piece of paper there for your record. That way, if you are traveling with pills and your medicines and things like that, you have easy access for the proof of why those medications are needed. You're going to want to do that for your family members and your pets as well. We have a pet that is a senior dog. He is almost 14 years old and he has a heart murmur and he requires 3 different medications. So we had to carry those pills with us, and you're going to need to be able to access the documentation for that medication if asked. You also want to have the school print out your children's transcripts, and if they can do more of like a certified copy, that would be great. You want to also have documentation of your car's registration. We kept a copy of it in the glove box of the car for the shipping container, and then we also had a copy on us as well too, just in case. And then you also want to have all the documentations required for your pet passport. And again, we'll get into that on a separate video. So in your little folder that you create, your flight folder, make sure to have all of that information with you. You also want to plan your transportation to the airport, because we sold one of our vehicles and we were leaving the other one behind with the in-laws to take in the shipping container. We needed to figure out a way to get to the airport. So we had planned to rent like a big van that was going to fit the dog kennels. It was going to fit the 6 luggages, the 6 big 50-pound luggages that we had, plus all of our carry-ons and our personal items as well too. That ended up not going through, which unfortunately cost us quite a bit of money, because our last resort to get from to get from San Diego up to Oakland so that we could take a one-way flight. It was important for us to take that one-way flight because we had the dogs with us and we didn't want to have to worry about layovers and things like that. In order to get us all from San Diego to Oakland, we ended up having to rent 2 U-Haul trucks. In one of our very first videos that we made on this channel, you can actually see us in those U-Haul trucks transporting the family. We had to rent 2 of the smaller U-Haul trucks. I drove and my husband drove, and that was really hard on us because we had no sleep. I mean, we were packing and we were getting ready the day before. We hardly had any sleep. We were planning on sharing the car ride. I sleep a little, he sleeps a little, and unfortunately we had to drive like 12 hours in the U-Haul trucks on almost no sleep. That was probably one of the hardest parts about the trip, really. So make sure that you 100% have your transportation dialed in before you move. You also want to make sure that you're buying like around 2 months in advance. Make sure that you're buying all of your luggage tags and your locks and things like that you're going to need for your luggage items, and any other items that you plan to take with you, like foldable water bottles, your neck pillows, get all of that ordered. It leads us to 1 month, about 4 weeks prior to the move. What you want to do is make sure that, again, you're verifying your booking. But I would recommend, honestly, it would have been really hard to cram everything into just 2 weeks. So I recommend, if you are moving to a different country, to quit your job about a month in advance if you have the leeway to be able to do that. 2 weeks before the move, you really want to start selling any of those items that are left in the home. You want to start selling your bed frames. You want to start selling your TV, your electronics that you're not going to be taking in your shipping container. I would recommend buying some of those converters, converters that convert like the American plug to the European plug. That was really important. We probably should have bought more. We bought 3 of them, and then we bought like one of the long strips as well too. And that was pretty helpful as far as, being able to charge our phones, being able to charge our laptops and things like that. You also want to put your 30-day notice in for your landlord if you're renting your home. Some people are selling their homes, and this is going to be a lot different for them. But we made sure that we put in our 30-day notice, and that we also did a change of address as well too. You want to make sure you get your change of address dialed in, so that when mail, such as some of the, like, let's say you had a utility bill, for example, cable, and you were getting a little bit of your deposit back, so that you have a place for your deposits and things like that to go to. That's going to be really, really helpful in the long run. 2 weeks prior to moving, actually close to a month prior to moving, I also sold my vehicle as well too. You guys don't hesitate to go straight to the dealership. I had a Mercedes-Benz, and we were going to put the ad on Craigslist to sell it on Craigslist, but it needed a couple of minor little things before we sold it. So being able to go to the dealership and selling my vehicle to the dealership, we got the amount of money that we wanted to, and we didn't have to repair the items that we were going to repair had we sold it to an individual. So don't hesitate to take your vehicles, if you are selling them, to the dealership and sell it back to the dealership. And then you also want to start packing your luggage around this time and weighing your luggage. We bought a little scale, and then we were able to pack our luggage and then, put it on that scale, weigh it, make sure that when we get to the airport, there wasn't going to be any bumps in the road. You also want to weigh your carry-ons and things like that as well too. The day prior to your move, prior to you actually loading everything into the vehicle, to the rental car or whatever vehicle you're going to be taking, go through those checklists one more time. Make sure that you're not forgetting anything. Get rid of those last few items. If you weren't able to sell anything, I would recommend donating it. So that concludes the video for today. I just wanted to go over this little checklist with you guys, because some people were requesting it. Some of the viewers are actually going to be moving out here within the next few years, and if I can help ease some of that stress, then that is, that's really my goal, is to help ease some of the stress as far as moving out here to the islands. If you guys have any questions at all, and you want to talk about something that I didn't go over in the video, feel free to comment below. We will be doing the pets on a separate video, what's required to take your pets over here to the Azores Islands and to Portugal. Because that can get a little bit tricky. There's some time periods and some deadlines and things like that that we'll go over, to touch base on that a little bit more, because moving with your kids is stressful enough, but moving with pets can be even more stressful. And really, again, my goal is to just help ease some of that stress. So stay tuned for more. My dog here. You guys want to see my dog? No, don't growl. It's mommy. It's not another doggy. Yes, this is Mako. Mako, say hi. Say hi. This is Mako. He's our COVID dog. We got him during COVID lockdown. Angie, come here. Come. Ang, come here. And this is Ang. This is our senior citizen dog right here. His eyes get dried out because of his medicine, so his tear ducts are all dirty right now. But this is our little 14-year-old Chihuahua right here. He's almost 14. He acts like he's 7 even though he has a heart murmur, he acts like he's 7. So yeah, back to what I was saying. If you guys have any other questions, feel free to just comment below. Stay tuned for more. Don't forget to like and subscribe and hit that notification bell. Bye for now.